What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bay Rats Buoys. I'm your host, Captain Gaige. This is episode 86. On the boat, in the wind, who cares? We're in the sunshine. That's all that matters. So there's a window to get out today. Guys went out early this morning and got on fish. We're going to get into the fishing. We're going to get into the tournament. We're going to get into some bad captains out there driving the boat wrong, doing all kinds of crazy things. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about in this episode. We got the fishing league, guys catching big, giant fluke, big bass, lots going on. Fishing's great. But first, this episode's brought to you in part by Seatow Huntington. Are you a member? Visit seatow.com and join today. And J&M Seafood of East Northport and East Setauket. He is also the grand prize sponsor for the second annual Bay Rats Buoys Striped Bass Invitational, going down in just 8 days. I mean, we're a little over a week away. Next Saturday, guys, 7:30 a.m. shotgun start right here, just north of the Huntington Lighthouse in Huntington Bay. The tournament will run overnight into Sunday at 3 p.m. And it's going to be an epic event like it was last year. We're trying to tag as many striped bass as we can. Last year we tagged 65. We're going to need your help. However, we need people to register and sign up early. Everybody's waiting to see what the weather's doing, and the weather's fine for next weekend, so go ahead and register your boat and get involved. Your chance to win, first prize is $2,500 cash, second place is $1,000, and third prize is $500. So, and it's based on biggest fish. You're going to measure the fish, take a photo of it on the measuring device we give you for the tournament. If you have any tags left, you can tag it and release it. It's a catch and release format. And we are competing for conservation, trying to do the right thing by these striped bass. And the fishing in our area is absolutely lights out. We don't have to worry about the frog in the throat because you know there's always a cold Diet Coke sitting around here. I got my my Yeti right here next to me, and that's the reason I have it. You never know. And again, guys, live, raw, unscripted. There's just a GoPro in front of me. I got my phone looking at me live on TikTok. And I'm sitting here with my podcast equipment on the boat in Huntington. Beautiful breeze right now. It's not as bad as everybody thinks. Now, guys in my fishing club, we had a great fishing club meeting last night right here in Huntington at a restaurant. It was awesome. You could head over to sandcitycharter.com and register and enter the Bay Rats Buoys Fishing Club as well. So the podcast has turned into a tournament, a fishing club, and we created a fishing league. And you're saying, well, what's next? Well, what's next is even bigger. We're actually seeking investors right now for what we are going to do moving forward in 2026. Some big stuff happening, and it's going to take a little help to get it to the next level. So it's not going to be as easy to do organically. But it is going to blow up, and we're super excited about it. And we're going to take you guys along for the ride like we have. This is episode 86, a consistent podcast every week. It's available on every platform you could find it on. Even recently upgrading and redoing the YouTube channel. Even YouTube says full podcast, it's not really the thing to listen to on YouTube. So people go to the YouTube channel and like, well, how come it only gets a few views? Well, it doesn't. It actually does very well on the audio format and the video format on other platforms. So the numbers are there. It's doing very well as far as a podcast is concerned. We're super excited to produce it every week. It's a lot of fun. I actually have a fun time doing this, sitting on the boat. This is no pressure, no stress. I'm not stressing out what I got to say, who I got to thank, names I got to remember, because there's nothing in front of me. All right, there's just two GoPros and a camera, which I'll show you guys live when we're done recording the podcast. In fact, I could put on my Meta Oakleys. However, it'll probably put on the audio. I could probably talk to the people on TikTok. That's interesting. I'll have to open this because you know what? We've been recording amazing video on the Oakleys, and the videos that we're capturing on the charter boat are second to none. They're absolutely insane. Like, I'm getting the fish blowing up on top water. Today I posted a video of a 15-year-old from New York City who landed a beautiful bass on light tackle on my boat and jigging a mini mojo because we were stacked up. And I'll show you the video. You see the screen. You'll see the fish stacked up. You'll see us get into them. And these are, to me, these were better than having the GoPros rolling on the boat all the time. This is getting what I'm seeing as I'm seeing it out there. And I'm also going to give you guys some advice on how to throw into these bass because I got that down to a science. When I see them blowing up and splashing, you don't want to be 5 feet left, 5 feet right. You better be good at casting like I am and get that plug right into where they are. And you will hook up instantly. And then I'm going to show you that if you don't get the hookup when that thing hits the water and you just give it a little jerk or two, to sit there for a second, because you're going to hear me say on the video, watch this fish come back for it. And I give it a twitch and boom, this giant striped bass came back for it, and exactly as planned and what I said, and I called it as it happened, which is always fun. So we're calling the fishing as it's going down out there. I'm just kidding. It's seriously, the video is awesome. You're going to love it. So follow us on all our social media feeds. Again, the tournament is next weekend, guys. This is super exciting. June 27th and 28th, the second annual Bay Rats and Buoys Striped Bass Invitational going down right here in Huntington. So that's exciting. If you want to get involved and compete for conservation, you can head over to stripedbassinvitational.com and register your boat. It's $250 per boat. Grand prize, $2,500. Second place, $1,000, and third place is $500. And we got sponsored gifts and stuff to give away and all kinds of great stuff. Now, I took my son out. He got out of school half a day the other day, 11 o'clock in the morning. What's today? Today's Friday, so I'm getting the podcast up on Friday. May not go up until Saturday morning if I don't get it up tonight because I'm heading out for a charter in a little bit to get on the bass. And I'm actually going to head into the harbor right now and throw the cast net and go get some live bait. So when my son gets down to the boat, I'm teaching him how to do, I want him to do everything. He's 13 years old, and he has to do everything. He's got to be able to turn the battery switch on. He's got to lower the engine. He's got to do all that stuff. Something's popping up on TikTok there, and I'm curious to see what it is. I see something coming up on the screen on the bottom, a little message. So I want him to do everything. I want him to take the fenders off the starboard side of the boat. That they're out just so another boat coming into in the marina here can get in, and if they have to bump into us, no problem. So take those fenders off, put them on the dock. We don't need those out there with us. Okay? Lower the engine. Get everything set. Take the canopy off the console. Put that away. Turn the radios on. Open up the compartments. Do what you got to do. Get the boat ready. Then we're going to get the fishing gear ready and get some plugs on the rods because you never know when you get out there. You want to be ready. You don't want to get out there and have to put on a plug when you're seeing them blowing up 30, 40 feet away from your boat. That's going to take all the fun out of it. So we're trying to teach them the right way. Now, we got a perfect calm day, nice wind. So I'm going to let him take the boat, untie the boat from the dock. And when he unties the boat from the dock, I want him to see what the wind and the tide are going to do to the boat. Because every time you untie your boat from the dock, something's going to happen. Tide's going to move you, the wind's going to move you, and you got to be prepared for that. So it was funny. He licked his finger and put it up to see which way the wind is going. And then I told him the other ways that you can see which way the wind is going, especially being down here in the marina. Looking up at the Windex on the top of a sailboat. It's going to tell you exactly where the direction of the wind is coming from and gusting from. They paid to have that up there, and that's at a high point, and that's going to be pretty accurate as opposed to, a flag that's down below the tree line on somebody's boat that's just barely flapping. So he unties the boat. I let him back it up. He backs up. He gets us out of here, and I'm in a tight spot. In here. I'm in a dead end. I'm in this boat's 10 feet away from us behind us. And he gets us out. We pass the fuel dock. He enters the channel. He does everything right. And we're heading out. He's keeping the green cans on the right side, and he's right where he needs to be in the channel, heading up to the next green can. And, I try to tell people, especially when I used to train the Freedom Boat Club members, you got to be careful in a harbor. All right? You got to be ready for anything because anything can happen. And another boater working in the area came out of the mooring field right in front of us. And I am talking So close that it was uncomfortably close. Now, we had a fishing club meeting last night. When I told the story, they said, hey, that was a good learning lesson for him. And it was only a good learning lesson for him because our pulpit didn't take out people's heads and hurt people and do damage to a boat, Now, they came out from behind another boat into the channel with never even looking, coming out, creeping out, looking to see if there's any traffic coming. They just entered the channel. And I could say he just entered the channel in a manner that was definitely unethical for somebody working in the industry. And the other boat that was coming in actually pulled up next to us, threw their hands in the air, and they were like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding? Like, who does that? Like, that was really, really, that could have been dangerous. Could have turned out to be a bad incident, and it wasn't. So it turned out to be a learning lesson for my son that there are idiots in all harbors, and you got to watch out for them. That's it. So I told you, I'm not going to use this platform to bash individuals and tell you who it is and show you videos of them doing stupid stuff. That's not what Bay Rats and Buoys is about. Bay Rats and Buoys is about building a boating and fishing community here and trying to educate people and make it better. So I'm not showing you the people that are zipping by the marinas here, waking us and making all the boats in the marina rock. We're not doing that. That's not what this is about. We're about going out there and catching some big fish and putting young kids. We had a 7-year-old catch a huge bass on a glide bait. That video is absolutely awesome. Abigail did amazing. That memory with her and her dad, Craig, is going to last forever. She is hooked on fishing. And when that boat came into the net on the boat and hit the deck, she was just like, oh, my God, look at the size of that thing. And the video is on all our social media channels. We just had a young gentleman from New York City land a beautiful fish thanks to Scott. And he was on the boat with his dad, his uncle, and his grandfather when he landed his personal best striped bass here on the boat. And he did it on light tackle. You see this RH rod that he's using. It was epic. And he did phenomenal. So that's it, Got to educate people. Got to teach these kids how to fish because you get them hooked early, they're going to get out there, they're going to be young. My kid's 13. By the time he's 16, he'll be able to captain a boat and do exactly what we're doing because in 2 or 3 years, he'll have enough experience that he's doing this all by himself, which is why I am teaching him now so that he can learn how to operate and run the boat and do everything. And the whole way out, we're educating him, And people are going to do wrong things around you all the time. So you got to be prepared for it. You really do. And, me, I preach a little bit of safety on the water because I teach people and I teach other captains. Even just Monday, sitting in a restaurant. Captain, guy owns a boat, hired me to come take him and his buddies out fishing because he wants to go out there and learn. And he's an older gentleman, and it's awesome. And, you're never too old to learn. And just like me, when I go snowboarding or something, I'll take a lesson, a private lesson early in the morning just to get out there with some 19, 20-year-old kid that knows a lot more than I know about today's technology and the equipment. And he's going to set the bindings on my snowboard perfect for what I want to be able to do out there for the day and get me dialed in. That's awesome. Same thing with ice hockey. My kids are taking private lessons and training to become better. Then Sunday mornings, we hit this Sunday morning's Father's Day. We a charter. So we're not going to be at the puck shoots that we like to be at. So I'm not going to be on the ice Sunday morning. But I did have a game this week. And it was a come from behind win. We had already clinched the playoffs, so we're in the playoffs. We got a couple extra games coming to us for the season. Super exciting. And I've already committed to the summer league, so I'm even more excited about that. So I'll be doing some fun stuff getting off the water. And to me, that's the best, having fun stuff to do with my kids. My kids love coming to watch me play. And the hockey community is a very small community. Because I talk to so many guys now down here, and when they hear the podcast and they hear that I'm playing hockey, they're like, yo, I play too, And there's guys in my office where the studio is that I was in yesterday producing somebody else's podcast. So it's great when we have a windy day down here and it's a blowout and I actually get to go in the studio and do work. It's fantastic. It's a great way to kill the bad boating day because it's been sketchy, the weather, this season. You've had windows to get out. Like Rob and Howie got out this morning. They murdered them on live bait. And me and my son, we got out there in the evening time on the top of the flood. It's been lights out, top water action. So you're just throwing plugs into them and boom, you're hooking up and you see them blowing up out of the water. And a little bit of running and gunning, a little bit of it, nothing crazy. Big question is, where are the blues? Where are the bluefish? I think you have a better chance of seeing a mahi-mahi here in the Sound than you do a bluefish. I'm kidding. Unbelievable. But speaking of mahi-mahi, we asked you where's the bluefish. We don't know where they are. Who's catching them? Everybody's got one they saw, they caught. Somebody had a photo, but nobody's getting into them. And, that always concerns us as far as the cycle of the fish. And I learned a lot from some older folks that taught me how the bluefish, all these fish species, everything happens in cycles, But we've had so many bass here this year that we're saying the bass ate everything. They ate the fluke, they ate the black sea bass, they're eating everything. And there are a lot of bass here. You see that fish that Abby caught? That thing had a belly on it, and it was a pretty heavy fish for the size. It was fat. When it got on the boat, you knew it was a fat bass. But speaking of the mahi and whatnot, so we had Craig and his daughter, Abigail, come on the boat, and that was an awesome evening trip, and we had to work for them. It wasn't like we got 20 fish that trip. We had to work for the fish that she caught on a glide bait. And we only got them when they were blowing up because there's so much bait there actually finicky. So you really got to go out there with live bait. Hence, I'm going to throw the cast net. It's 12:30 before our later, the afternoon charter. So we're going to head out there with live bait either way. Spot, bunker. You drop that down now and you're guaranteed to hook up because they're gorging on mackerel and bunker and peanuts and all kinds of stuff out there. The peanut bunker. A lot of guys are saying they're seeing them, stuffed with squid, in certain areas here on Long Island. So Craig was on the boat, had an epic trip with his daughter. She caught an awesome fish. Craig goes home, shows the pictures to his friends, and, next thing you know, we're getting a message from Craig saying, hey, I need you to send Corey over, my first mate, over to this address on Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And Corey heads over during the week, and it turns out he meets the owner of the Northeast rep for hawk fishing. So I'm going to recommend you go over to hawkfishing.com and you can check it out. I am going to make a video this week of me pairing up a reel with the new 7/8 angler's toy that we were given by hawkfishing.com. And it's HOWK, and there's 2 dots over the O, hence the hawk. And the company is out of Spain, if I'm correct. And, we can't thank you guys enough. That rod is absolutely insane. It'll catch anything here. I could throw any size plug I want at any striped bass. That rod was designed to even get into tuna and mahi. And so we're going to pair it up with a reel that we can use here in this area. We're going to show you the rod. We're going to show you the reel. And we're also going to show you the braid that we use, a very special braid that we are switching all of our reels over to this year. And we're going to break those names to you in a cool video that we make. Hopefully we make it this week or just before the tournament or maybe after the tournament. I do have the tournament happening next week. We are just a little bit busy, between charters and the tournament. I'm lucky I have time to sip my Diet Coke. But hawk fishing, we can't thank you enough. We are greatly appreciative of the rod, and we are going to put it to good use and hopefully make you proud with some of the videos that will tag you and collaborate with you on social media. So that's all going to happen very shortly. In the meantime, I was just talking to Captain of the Kitchen. He was down here. He's going to be helping out on the day of the tournament. Speaking of the tournament, and Captain of the Kitchen, Frank, our tournament manager, did a phenomenal job getting out to all the tackle shops and dropping off the flyers, and met some cool people that, the owners of the shops, and they were posting it on their Instagram and Facebook, and we're going to give them a shout out and put their images for their shop up here on the screen so you guys can see the couple that were posting it on their social media feeds, and Frank did a phenomenal job. Captain of the Kitchen, Tony, he's going to help out the morning of. A lot of good things happening. But the reason I brought up Tony, captain of the kitchen, is because he is a huge fluke fisherman. So he loves fluke. And in the fishing league right now, fluke is the featured species for this month. Next month, we're a little concerned because the featured species is going to be bluefish. But you know something? It only takes one day for them all to show up. Like last year, they showed up on June 22nd, the day of the tournament. That's when bluefish showed up in our area last year. And that's what they were talking about last night in the fishing club, which was really cool. You know, we had a great sit-down. People were able to order dinner and drinks and have a good time and talk fishing and boating, which is what we do at Bay Rats and Buoys. And the fluke fishing, you know, you catch a big fluke around here. That's 25-inch fluke. That's a decent-sized doormat, no doubt about it. And one of the guys in the fishing club caught a monster fluke. And I'm not going to tell you the size of it because he's not going to submit it until the end of the month for the fishing league. And, you know, I get that part of it because people are going to be out there catching fish and waiting to the end of the month to submit the fish and hoping that they can, you know, get on the leaderboard and win the month for their division. So I get that. So I'm not going to tell you the size of his fish because the other teams will know, and they'll be like, holy shit, we got to get out there and catch a big fish. Somebody caught a big fluke, and if you're looking to aim and catch fluke and win the division, you better get out there and catch some big fluke, I'm telling you right now. Because they got a whopper. This thing's a doormat. Unbelievable. So, and the open species that you get to submit for this month, you can submit anything, but why wouldn't you submit a striped bass? You're going to get the most points. Open species is no species multiplier on that fish. So a fluke is a 1.3 species multiplier. A open species fish is 1.0. So if you submit a 40-inch bass as your open species, you're going to get 40 points on the leaderboard. And that's how that works. It's all explanatory on the website. You can go check it out. August is going to be a wild card month. That's going to be interesting how that pans out. And we're considering switching up July if we don't see any bluefish. Or do we make it that you got to go out and go travel or go run to the race to go get blues? You know, you got to get out of the area and go catch bluefish. Who knows? You know, so we're hashing that out now. And I always put that out to, you know, captains on other teams and figure out what's the best way to do this. It's the first year for the league, so we'll be modifying it and making changes throughout the season for the first year. Next year, we expect to really have this thing blow up in the tri-state area. This year it was a little tougher, the late announcement that we made for teams to form and get it out to the New Jersey audience, okay, and market to them. But we will be doing that next year. Now, the guys that are tuna fishing, you guys got to be getting ramped up and excited because here we are getting to the end of June. We got, you know, a little more than a week left. You got, 10 days left of the month. And before you know it, it's July, and I know July is one of the hottest months for tuna fishing here, in the Northeast. And I'm sure guys are already getting excited and getting out there and geared up. You got the Montauk Canyon Challenge happening July 10th through the 18th. I believe that's the date. You could head over to MontaukCanyonChallenge.com and check that out. Chris Squeary and his crew throw an amazing event. We will be out there. Bay Rats and Buoys will be out there at Gossman's in Montauk for the event. It's not at the Montauk Canyon. It's not at the Montauk Yacht Club this year. They moved it for logistic purposes. And last year they had over 84 Vikings, or 84 boats. I mean, a lot of them are Vikings. And the total cash giveaway, I think, was like $1.1 million. I mean, this is an epic event here in New York. It's unbelievable. Then they have the Hampton Shootout. And if you win both of those, you can be the New York offshore champion in some format. So you'd have to read about that and check that out on the website. Okay, guys. Again, unscripted, raw, not looking at anything. I have no notes. There's no teleprompter here. Every week I'm going to start doing, so we do the podcast, but I'm going to start putting out my, my weekly fishing report. I'm going to be out sitting in the sound, giving you a report maybe while we're even catching some fish. So that's going to be pretty cool, letting you see what we're using, what we're doing. Now, last week I had mentioned, we threw the DTX out previously. We knew they were hitting mackerel, so we wanted to get something out there. And we said, hey, what the hell? We have this on the boat. Why don't we throw the two of them out, put them at different depths, put them out at different distances behind the boat. They're deep diving baits. They swim down. The fish were down. And we use these DTX minnows. Now, I had these on the boat because, I brought them down to the boat. I had purchased some stuff for tuna. And this was some of the nomads that you see me brag about them all the time. I love my nomad vibes. We dropped those down into the bass this week. The mini mojos were doing better. Corey swapped it out and put a treble hook on the back because we did get hit a couple of times, but didn't hook up. But we did hook up on this prior to him putting a treble hook on. So it had the single on the back, and we did hook into a bass with this. And it was awesome to get this thing out there behind the boat and see it actually perform and work. The action on the rod tips is insane. A ton of fun. Again, we were using braid for this, not wire. You're not pulling wire with these. You just put them on whatever braids you got on your boat that you use for trolling, and we put them out there behind the boat. It was a ton of fun. So we are going to continue to try and use these and see if we can make some cool videos and show you the hookup underwater on the boat with the Nomad. You're trolling at a higher speed, so you're not going at 3.5 miles an hour with what you normally troll at 3 to 3.5. You're going 5.5 with these on. And there's some serious, action on the rod because this thing is swimming and rattling in the water. The action on these things is absolutely great, but you could tell, that they actually look like the fish. These things look amazing. So, great job, Nomad. We love them, and I can't wait to use them for tuna. But we're hoping to get out on the tuna bite and be able to jig and throw poppers and really not troll around for them. We're hoping to do it in a different format. We are going to try to get out with the East End Anglers, collaborate with those guys. We will be collaborating with Chris Squeary and some of the captains at the Montauk Canyon Challenge to get you guys up close and personal to some of the gear that people are using and why they use it and what they use it for, and hopefully educate you guys and help you get out there and catch more fish. So, the wind seems to be dying down. I thought for sure it was going to be a little windier here doing the podcast. But I told some of the other captains that were down here when I got down here, they were like, they were surprised to hear that we were going out. They thought it was going to be blowing 20 all day. And I'm like, no way. Once that tide changes at 4 o'clock, the wind out of the west lays down a little bit, and you got wind and tide together, so it's not going to be wind against tide. So the conditions out there will absolutely be perfect for this evening. So tune into our social media channels and you'll see how well we did, if we did well. You got to go out there prepared. You go out there with live bait right now, you will catch fish. You're going to troll around, good luck. They're very finicky. There's no guarantees you're hooking up on the troll. You see them below the boat, stacked up. Look at the video we just posted. Actually, the one that I'm about to post has got the screen of, you'll see the bass lit up on the screen. There's just so many fish. And what's cool is while I'm capturing the Simrad screen you see behind me, with the Oakley glasses, it's looking at the screen loaded with bass. The guy on the bow of the boat hooks into a nice bass on a mini mojo. So he was jigging. I had them jigging. We had 2 mini mojos down, a flutter spoon, and a Nomad Vibe. And for that reason, you want to see what they're going to go after. And they did go after the mini mojo, and it was a white one. And a lot of people have been saying this season white has been outperforming the chartreuse on the mojos and the parachutes. And it proved to be the case the other day. So you see even Dylan, who reeled in a nice fish on the RH rod with a Stratic 3000, pulled in a nice bass on a mini mojo, and it was white. So they seem to be performing. And if you know that and you get down there and you see them, you put those whites down, you may have a better chance of hooking up. So if you see them and you have live bait, just drop that down. You're guaranteed to hook up. And, you may lose a few. You may lose a few baits. Just like one of the guys, we had these guys on the boat from Pennsylvania. Really good fishermen. They are dialed in. Like, they catch striped bass in lakes, and they just love. These guys are hardcore. And he was using the flutter spoon, and he got hit 2 or 3 times. He even hooked in, and he felt them, and he dropped it. And, that happens. And that video I have to put up tomorrow. I'll probably put it up Sunday or Monday. It's a great video of me casting out to a blow-up. And I put a dock right where the bass blew up. Give it a twitch. He goes after it. So you see the bass come up on top, splash, and miss it. And then you hear me say, watch, he's going to come back for it. And I just give it a little twitch and boom. And this is a decent-sized rod that we have with a decent-sized reel, and this thing is doubled over. And you know, I mean, when I'm handing it to him, you feel this fish pulling and fighting, and he knew right away this was a real fish. This was a real bass. Not that they're not all real. You know what I mean, size-wise. Not a 36-inch dink. Anyway, and we call 36-inch fish dinks. Anything 34, 35, 36, we catch so many of those. We're just so used to catching them that, little kids catch those fish on our boat all the time. And so we like the 40s and overs. Those are the fun ones, and they look great on film. But you know what? The film and the photos don't do the bass justice. They really don't. You look at these fish, you see the size of them, and they're amazing when they hit the deck. They're great when they come next to the boat, the size of them. But when you take a photograph of them, it just doesn't do the fish justice. It doesn't look half as good as it did when you had it on the boat and everybody's oohing and ahhing and high-fiving. The excitement level is usually through the roof. We have a ton of fun on Sand City Charter, hence time to do some big things. And like I said earlier in the podcast, we are definitely seeking some investment opportunities for what we are about to do and grow this to a whole nother level, and it's a ton of fun. We love what we're doing. We're dialed in. We're having a blast doing it, and we're looking to change things up and grow and get a little bigger. So that's why we mentioned that here on the podcast. We have a ton of loyal listeners. We love it, and you guys are awesome. We couldn't do it without you. So head over to stripedbassinvitational.com if you want to get involved in the tournament. The flyers, the posters, all the banners are out. The word is out on the street. And I know everybody was waiting for the weather to see what the weather's going to be like. We got a thumbs up. We got a green light. Weather is good. Looks like this weekend, Saturday, is going to be a blowout. Sunday morning, Father's Day, we have a charter. So we're excited that the weather on Saturday morning, there's going to be a million boats out there. It is what it is. I don't love doing weekend charters. I really go Monday through Friday on the private charters. On the weekend, I like to take my commercial tow captain shift and get out there and help and rescue people and get them back safe and be out there doing something a little bit different. And Sunday, I like to get on the ice rink and get out there and play some hockey with my kids and get warmed up and dialed in for my games during the week in the evening time. So that's the life of a captain these days. Love being on the boat. Look how beautiful it is down here, guys. The wind is dying down as forecasted. I'm going to go throw some gas in the boat, get out there, try to catch some live bait with the cast net. It's already out, ready to go. You can see the cast net video on YouTube. You got to love the comments, but, millions of views on multiple platforms. I think it's up to like 750,000 views on YouTube, but, Instagram, it was like 1.2 million. And, if you make a video of throwing a cast net, like, throw it out in a big pancake and you catch bunker, it's going to get some attention, but everybody's got their fun comments, and I love every second of it. So get out there, catch them up, guys. The fluke bite is happening, catching a lot of shorts, and in between catching shorts, you might catch a trophy doormat. They do exist. They are out there. Guys were telling me they were in shallow water, drifting from 10 to 30. They were getting a ton of fish. They had a good bite, and they really didn't get into anything worthy of size keeper-wise. And they did see people drifting in 50 feet of water and coming up, never putting the net in the water and not coming up with any fish. So you really got to get dialed in on the depth and the water temperature. I have not done a lot of fluke fishing, so I can only tell you what guys in my club and other guys are doing and what Captain in the Kitchen, Tony, is doing. He's dialed in on the fluke. He's not happy about the wind today, so I get it. I understand. But we'll be out there catching fish. Hope to see you guys out there. If you see us out there, say what's up. Shoot us a text message. You can head over to sandcitycharter.com. We will be running an open boat once a week. If you want to get out there and fish with me and Corey, you can submit on the form on the website. Just click. When you click on it, and the drop-down menu says, what are you looking for? A half-day charter. There's open boat. Put your name on the open boat list, and this way we'll shoot you a text message and let you know, hey, Thursday, 8 a.m., we're going out. We have an open boat if you're interested, and we'll try to give you a couple days' notice based on the weather and the tide. We like to pick the specific tides, great weather, and get out there and catch some fish. But happy Father's Day to everybody. Hopefully you get those kids out fishing. If you have a boat, that's the day your wife's got to let you go take the boat out. Me, I don't have that issue. I take it out every day. I'm 7 days a week on the water. I love it. The only days I'm not out there are the days that it's, crappy conditions. But wishing you guys a happy Father's Day. And thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. TikTok, thanks for, I saw some warnings, some red messages. Who the hell knows with TikTok? They didn't let me post a video of a kid or a gentleman getting slapped in the face with a fish. They said it violated guidelines. Meanwhile, on Instagram and Facebook, it blows up, but TikTok says it violated guidelines. Meanwhile, the videos that I watch on TikTok, some of them are atrocious as far as crimes being committed and watching crimes. A guy gets slapped in the face with a striped bass tail, and that they said I violated guidelines. So, not exactly understanding them, don't really care. That's why we have other platforms to work with. So, Instagram, Facebook, love you guys. TikTok, you guys can eat a bag of dicks. And I love my TikTok fans and family. You guys are the best. But, back to Bay Rats and Buoys, guys. I have to have a little fun here, too, I don't bash people in the platforms. I told you that. We don't bash people, but we can have a little fun here for sure. So, episode 86 in the books. On the boat, Captain Gaige signing off, wishing everybody bent rods, tight lines, and I look forward to seeing you guys out on the water. Over and out.